Before we start, I'd just like to say one thing. I want a Fire Emblem Three Houses rep in Smash. Wait, don't lynch me yet. If you take a look at the three house leaders, you can see that each of them wields a not sword, and the protagonist, who is another option, uses a half sword, half whip. Now that I say that out loud, I don't think that would be a good idea. Anyways, let me just start out by saying that I am not a writer, I'm not good at writing scripts, I'm not good at reading scripts, and yet here we are, reading a script on Google Docs. I present to you Fire Emblem Three Houses, a very rushed review. Nintendo first announced that a Fire Emblem game was in development for the Nintendo Switch in January 2017 during a Nintendo Direct focused on the series. An expected release date of 2018 was given for the then unnamed game. In February 2019, the game was showcased in another Nintendo Direct, displaying the new game and story details, including a second delay with the game's release date falling on July 26, 2019. Finally, the game was released. I had planned on pre-ordering the collector's edition for the game, but about 2 minutes before I pressed purchase, they had sold out. Luckily, I was able to pick one up at a Walmart near me on launch day before they started deeming video games the spawn of Satan and stopped selling them entirely. The collector's edition came with the game, a steelbook case, an art book, and a soundtrack. In my opinion, I think the game's default casing looks better than the steelbook, so I'm choosing to keep both cases. The art book has the art profiles for all the characters in the game, multiple settings, lots of game's weapons and armor sets, and all of the game's monsters. Everything in this art book is very detailed, especially the character portraits. The soundtrack includes every song in the game, but I don't have a disc drive on my PC, so I can't exactly play it yet. The game's soundtrack is outstanding though, more on that later. After I unboxed everything, I sat down and started my first playthrough. The game starts out with you, Byleth, having a dream and meeting Sothis, some lolly with too much hair and not enough shoes, who claims that they have no idea who they are or why they can interact with you. Your father, Gerald, wakes you up and you discover that you are a mercenary and that bandits are attacking the area. You go out to find the game's main three house leaders, Edelgard, Cloud, and Dimitri. You protect them from the bandits and in the process unlock an ability known as the Divine Pulse, which is basically your oops, I fucked up, oh never mind button. You are summoned to Garreg Mach, a place connected to the Church of Sarios, meant to train the students of Fodlan's regions to become skilled warriors. After speaking to the church's leader, Rhea, you have been requested to become a teacher at the academy, in which you will teach one of the three main houses, Edelgard's Black Eagles of the Empire, Dimitri's Blue Lions of the Kingdom, or Cloud's Golden Deer of the Alliance. After selecting a house, you spend your days teaching, training, and interacting with your students and the other members of Garreg Mach. Discover the secrets of the church and unlock the Sword of the Creator, which, for whatever reason, reacts to the protagonist, Byleth. Now, I'll refrain from sharing any further details to prevent spoilers, but in the second half of the game, things take a drastic turn after the 5-year time skip, and the gameplay and story will dramatically change based on what house you chose. I started out with the Black Eagles, and let me just say that there is a reason why this is probably my favorite Fire Emblem game to date. The game is set up to follow a calendar system, similar to Persona, in which there are scheduled days and events that you can choose to explore. On Mondays, you can teach your students the skills you wish them to progress in, set their goals, and give them weekly assignments. After a bit of leveling up, they can also take certification exams, allowing them to move up in class. On Saturdays, the weekly assignment is completed. Then, there is Sunday, your free day. You have a few options. You can choose to do the paralog battles or quest battles in order to grind or collect goods. You can choose to hold or join a seminar in order to boost your skills aside from your main lessons. You can rest in order to boost motivation and replenish durability in the Sword of the Creator, or you can choose to explore. When you choose to explore, you are given full range of the monastery. You can talk to students, maybe giving them a lost item or a gift. You can cook, eat, do choir, fish, join tournaments, garden, shop, gain support, and more. When talking to the students or other faculty members, aside from the gifting and returning lost items, you can also recruit them if they aren't already in your house or host a tea party. When hosting a tea party, you have to come up with conversation topics that relate to the other member in order to hold a conversation. All of these actions allow you to build up motivation, a type of currency in a way that you can use to level up your units during lessons and support ranks. Speaking of your units, Each house consists of 8 members. Here are a few of my favorite from each house. First, the Black Eagles has Bernadetta, the shy and timid archer, Linhardt, the sleepy magic user, and Dorothea, the magic user who is coincidentally also best girl. No, this is not negotiable. She has Jotaro's hat. This is not up for discussion. The Golden Deer has Ignatz, the knowledgeable archer, Lysithea, Futaba with white hair, and Hilda, the lazy axe wielder who seems to get crits on every other turn. Lastly, the Blue Lions, whom I haven't used yet, but so far I really like Felix, Mercedes, and Ash. Each of these characters has their own fleshed out backstories, ambitions, and goals, as well as connections to characters outside the main story. There's also unlockable units from the church, such as Flame or Shamir. Each character has multiple interactions through one another through support conversations and talking in the overworld. The more you support, the better your units will do in battle. In battles, there can be a variety of goals, such as defeating the enemy captain, every enemy, or moving a specific unit to a specified location. In this game, the long-standing weapon triangle was removed in favor for a more tactical approach regarding weapons, abilities, and stats. You can customize your unit's weapons, items, and combat abilities, and more. Some units like the bowmen have more range, while axe units have stronger base attack. All of them have these special moves called combat arts, used for specific enemies that may be farther away, or a monster, or have armor, etc. There is also different types of terrain that depend on your location, that may prohibit your ability to see, like fog, or cause damage to your units, like lava. Either way, it's all about strategy and your unit's placements. I prefer to keep my units in groups when on the move so no one gets overwhelmed. Lastly, there's your Divine Pulse, an ability that lets you stop and rewind time to your liking, so you don't have to completely start over the battle if you make a mistake. There are more mechanics in battles, but I won't get into those today. And that's it for Fire Emblem Three Houses. I could go on and on about the amazing artwork, character design, music, etc., but I'd rather you all watching this experience it for yourselves. I love this game, and it is 100% in my top 5 best Switch games, potentially in my top 10 best games ever. Even if you haven't played a Fire Emblem game before, I highly recommend you give this one a try. And who knows, maybe you won't hate all the Fire Emblem reps in Smash. Except Ike though. I hope he stays hated. Fuck that guy.